Welcome to another episode of Five Lemons Laughing. I'm Amanda. I'm here with Melissa, Penny, Drusilla, and Morgan. We're diving right in today. We have all the Lemonettes, and it's just going to be a wonderful episode. So, here's something to ponder. Have you ever met someone who changed your life, even if they were only present for a short time? And that really makes me wonder, are some people meant to cross our path for a reason? And today we're exploring that possibility.
Yeah, so I think this is such a great topic. I think we've probably touched on it a few times in the last 3 years, but I recently came across the quote, and kind of just made me rethink because I've experienced a lot of loss in my life recently, and so I thought it would be great for us to talk about it. But the quote says, "Nothing is coincident. Every soul you meet is written in your destiny to teach you, to heal you, or to love you." And that's by Third Eye Thoughts. So it made me kind of wonder, I believe that on some level, but do I literally understand what that means for every person that's in my life and every person that has come, into my life and left? And I just think it's a beautiful question. So I think today we should just ponder on, the people in our lives and to kind of discern if we think they, why was it that they were in our lives and, why did they leave? You know, what do you think,
Interesting.
ladies?
Yeah. So interesting. Well, and I would even amend something Amanda said. Are some people meant to cross our paths for a reason? To say every person that crosses our paths is for a reason, even the little chance encounters at the grocery store. So just to pivot back to that. But
Yeah, for sure.
There are no accidents, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah. And it also makes me think of there's a part in the manual for teachers that talks about the different types of relationships. It talks about relationships that seem quite superficial and or like very like casual chance encounters, like I just described, meeting in the grocery store. And it says that they're not chance encounters. And so even in those briefest of encounters is always the opportunity for a holy instant, as A Course in Miracles calls it, or a miracle. And then it talks about the types of relationships that last a little bit longer, like maybe a coworker that you're in each other's lives for 15 years and or a friend who's in your life for 20 years or whatever. And then it talks about those lifelong relationships, and it goes into the detail of like how they're all here as a teaching learning situation. So exactly what this quote is saying, like there are no accidental relationships.
Yeah, thank you, Morgan, for bringing it back to A Course in Miracles. The part that the course talks about in reference to why we feel pain or discomfort when people leave our lives is like that was the first time I had ever tried to understand that was in reading the course, and it basically explains that when we do feel pain, it's as if we believe we were lacking something and that person brought that to us, and therefore
Mm,
when they leave, we think that they've taken it away. And I
mm.
think that is such an interesting perspective about why we feel, anxiety or discomfort when someone leaves. And, if I have a chance to kind of apply that to losing a lot of family members and especially my mom, which, for most mothers, they hold a lot of different aspects of your life, like just the center of everything for most people. And so it's really been hard to grapple with the reality of I have everything within me that I ever thought that my mother gave me, you know. That's a big one to wrap my mind
Mm,
around.
mhm.
Beautiful. What was your mom's name?
Margie, her
Marge.
nickname was Mott.
Oh,
Sweet.
I think we
Yeah.
can go
So
so
what
many.
are some of the main losses, I think friendships are really difficult to do, like childhood friendships
Mhm.
and things like that. And I know we've talked about some of them. I think Penny's had some pretty good stories about friendships that have come and
Mhm.
gone. But yeah, would you ladies like to share some?
Mm, so
Well,
many. Go ahead, Melissa.
well, okay, answering that question. I had some other thoughts, but answering that question, I used to think I used to have what I felt like was a life that um was like a tree, and every time I kind of enter into a new era, a new tree would pop up and it wouldn't be another
Mm,
branch from the tree. And I really always felt like um really wanted a continuation of the tree, another branch to pop up, but it be part of the same tree. And at some point in my life, probably in my like 40s maybe, um
so just yesterday.
yesterday. Actually, you know what I'm thinking? And this is kind of weird. It may have been like the beginning of social media where
Ah,
it like I had a grade school reunion with the girls I went to grade school with. Um I found people that I loved very much, but we just drifted apart. I found people that I thought I had a real connection with, but then they kind of represented themselves how they represented themselves. It was not something like I wanted to follow and that kind of thing.
mm,
So I remember thinking, I finally have my tree. I finally have it all in one place, sprouting out of the same situation. And I've really like if you start thinking about your past, like especially people, I think especially Americans, um, because Americans are very adventurous and um, try new things. And we've talked about this before. If you start testing us, we have more dopamine receptors. Um, so than like Europeans, because we were the ones who crossed and came to North America and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's a lot of times when we live different places, go to different schools that could be starting and stopping and starting and stopping. But I've always felt that I was in the right spot for where I was. Like I never really thought I wanted a whole nother life someplace else. I wanted the life that I had, and it could have been different from the life I had 10 years ago or what I was going to have, but it was all very meaningful. So I never really had um, that thought that the people, places, and things in my life weren't supposed to be there.
mm.
I I've always thought it, and we talked about this a little bit last time. If it was there, it's supposed to be. Like if they weren't there, they weren't supposed to be in my life.
Mhm,
I think I can relate to what you're saying.
mhm,
And I felt that way in my 40s. I really did. I do not feel that way now. I feel that I have met um a lot of people in the last, I would say, 8 to 10 years. And a lot of those relationships were very seasonal,
Yeah,
very seasonal. Um,
but meaningful.
maybe it had to do with a shift in career. I met a lot of people in the film industry, and then also moving to a totally different part of town and meeting a lot of people. And a lot of those people I will probably never talk to again, but I had some very strong connections with people. And I will say that it has gotten easier. It used to be very, very difficult for me to let go of relationships, boyfriend relationship, friendships. Everything felt like it was a catastrophic loss for me.
Mm.
And to some degree, I am still that way. And but yeah, I think in a season there was a time when I felt that everybody was there and everything felt so loving and comfortable, and that everybody was going to be in my life forever, and it was always going to be, rainbows and sunshine. So but now, and I think a lot has to do with my spiritual growth and journey, and that I'm probably the reason why people are um coming in and able to exit, right? Because I'm letting them exit. I'm not, you know, picking up the phone, calling or texting if I haven't heard from someone, right? So I think that is, a lot of the acceptance and allowing, just allowing life to flow in and flow out as it needs
Yep.
to.
And do you see how even those transitory relationships brought something to you, like from this quote, either a healing or taught you something about yourself or, um,
Yeah, the funny thing is, usually I make that discernment very early on,
Ooh.
which is why I think sometimes our knowledge is how knowledge turns into wisdom, is that when you can apply something in the present, right? And it becomes wisdom. And I do it without thinking about it. And then that way I don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to talk to this person again? Oh, she's going to be my best friend. It's just accepting what it is in the moment.
Yes,
Mhm.
that makes me think like like everybody really is just a extra in our individual films. And
Mhm.
I
it's
like
like
that.
that person came into your life to teach you something or to mirror something to you.
Mhm.
And it's like if it's a lesson that this is the 20th time, the 2000th time it's come your way and you've already like kind of gotten the memo, learned the lesson, then there's no reason for that relationship to stay in your life. But if you're not ready to learn that lesson, then they're going to keep surfacing in your life, or another version of that person is going to resurface in your life. And so it's like the fact that, they're just moving on through. It's like, okay, lesson learned. I am worthy of receiving love and this doesn't look like it, or I am worthy of receiving respect and this doesn't look like it, or whatever the lesson is. Those are just two examples that came to mind. But yeah, it's just one interpretation.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I recently had a situation where there has been an exit, and it was intentional on my part to release this person. And you'll heard me talk about this person. Um, it's someone that I say likes to gossip a lot, and it's this person that I try to get off the phone with because of, and I think you're so right, Morgan. I've known her for 6 years, and the whole 6 years I've known that this is probably not a person who is um, aligned with how I choose to, live my life, but I've maintained the relationship nonetheless. And
Mm.
I think it wasn't until I could decipher myself that that truly wasn't a part of it. I saw the mirror, I looked in it and I saw it and I said, there is no way that I can be true to myself and continue this relationship with this person. And and I will have to say that I still felt some level of pain, loss from that relationship. And so I had to refer back to the course to say, to help understand that this person um, was a mirror for me. And it just took me a lot longer than I would like to acknowledge for me to see that, you know, it wasn't healthy, and it was a part of myself that I was still holding on to.
Mm. Yeah. People will show us where we're abandoning ourselves or where, you know, we still are withholding love or all kinds of different things. It can show up in so many different ways. Mm.
I'm just trying to think of a good example. I the only thing that comes to my mind, and I love what you've all been saying, is that in my 12-step journey in Al-Anon, I got to step number 8 figured out the people that I had done wrong to, and then was willing to make amends to them. And I reached out to some people that I hadn't talked to for a very, very long time. And it was really interesting, like you were saying, Drusilla, how, I thought that there was something there initially. And then as I worked my program and then I went to do the amends when I thought I had done some wrong to them, I realized that there was just nothing there really. It was like really kind of beautiful.
Like no
So
substance holding that relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it had been like some of the people, they took space up in my mind a lot.
Mhm.
And then when I became, when I did the work and realized that, what had occurred and where I thought I had done wrong, I realized once I had admitted, maybe I hadn't been so kind to them, or it wasn't, none of my stuff was like, oh, well, I'm going to judge it here, but it wasn't, I don't think it was that bad, but but I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that yeah, they were in my life for a reason, and I think I got the lesson. That's it. We were
Mhm.
just talking about that. I got the lesson. I made amends on what my part was in receiving the lesson, and then I was able to move on. And like one of them was a previous boyfriend, and he said, "Oh yeah, let's keep in touch." And I go, "Yeah, let's keep in touch." We haven't, but but yeah, so that was just really
Well,
interesting to
I
watch
have
that
a
unfold.
I have a question for you about that. So, like you said, a lot of them took up some mental space until you
Mhm,
made the amends. Like, how
mhm.
much space do these people take up in your mind now?
A a teeny tiny bit.
Yeah,
Sometimes I get a little twinge about, "Oh god, I can't believe I did that in 8th grade." And then I go, "Oh, Penny, come on.
yeah,
Julie didn't even remember when you made amends to her."
yeah. It's like
So,
the ego knocking, like,
yeah,
just checking in. Are you sure you're done with this one?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So they
I
were
think that's such
definitely
a
in my
sign
life.
that you have forgiven it and cleared it,
Yeah,
that it's no longer like
yeah.
floating around in there.
Yeah, so I mean, there's still a couple of names floating around in my head, and I think, oh, I should see if I can find them. So I love what you said, Melissa, about social media. It really helps us to be able to find those people, from 36 years ago or whatever that came into
Mhm.
my life. And, we had a relationship and now it's gone, but there's something, just a little niggle that needs to be worked out still. And so I think I'll look for her today,
Mhm.
maybe.
I have a question for you. What do you think the lady in your neighborhood who is suing you all is here for in your life?
Oh, what is she here for? To show me what it looks like, not how it looks to, well, there's several things. I think she has been, I don't want to say disrespected, but I don't think the communication was as open and transparent as it could have been. And so I think everybody's learning, like make sure the secretary's minutes are accurate and published in a timely manner so the community that is part of it can say yes. So I think there's a lot of communication lessons. Usually, isn't that what it all is when relationships break down? Is that it's something in our communication has broken down. And so yeah, I think it's communication. And respect, I think it is too. I mean, it's okay for somebody else to have a different opinion. And that goes for her too. It's okay that we have a different opinion than her, which she doesn't believe is accurate. I think that's part of it too. Um, and for me, it's just to love her anyway. And that's challenging sometimes. But I can see her as a person, that's got her own struggles, and just to honor that. And not everybody, when we talk about it periodically, not everybody has that same opinion. So I just have to keep my side of the street clean, and I can just keep putting the vibes out there that yeah, everybody deserves love, no matter if they're suing you or not, and it's all going to work out. I mean, yeah, I was going to make some judgments and I won't. Okay, she's deluded, but that's okay. She is not going to win. So we wish she could see the light, but everybody's on their journey, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you, Amanda? You've been very super duper quiet.
I just my upbringing has had a lot of change in it. So, from early on, relationships came and went pretty quickly. And, it's where, it's part of my human design. I had it done. Like change is in my stars. So, I used to judge it as, maybe I was shallow and I didn't, like I had all kinds of judgments about moving from one community to another, one group of friends to another, letting friendships go pretty easily. And I used to judge it as wrong, but now that I'm older and I had my human design done and like really looking at uh, my life and what I'm here for, it's a lot easier, right? I'm like, oh, that's just, change is part of my life. And um, especially when I was younger, I made friends really fast. We enjoyed each other, like, during summers, like we had a lot of enjoyment. I was very present and we did it, but then it was done. And I just was like, it was done. And I
Mhm.
just moved on. So, and I can think of both sides of the things. I know I talked, especially in the first season, about high school and, all the perceived damage that I did to friendships and I feel okay with that because now that I'm seeing like there's two sides to it. And yes, I might have been a destructive part of someone's relationship. And I'm also to a point where I can see that I served that role. Would I do it again now as an adult, knowing, but I was, I mean, I did think I was grown when I was, 15, 16. I thought I was grown when I was
Of
like
course you
12,
were.
right?
Of
And I
course.
was, right? I was born old. Um,
And
so
I think you were, Amanda.
yeah,
You just forgot it.
yeah, I just forgot it. I forgot those lessons. And so now I'm like, you know what? I was the villain in someone's story, and that's okay too.
Mhm.
Like forgiving myself for it. And I remember a lot of early on in Jennifer Hadley's work. Um, Michael's, Saint Michael or the angel Michael?
Archangel Michael.
Archangel
Thank
Michael.
you,
Mhm.
thank you. Like, he has a blue flaming sword to cut the cords and heal in both directions, like, to heal and to release. I did a lot of that work, just releasing all attachments. So, I see it from both ways. I mean, there's like, like names and situations keep popping up. And it's so funny. Like until I started talking, only the negative things that I did were popping up in my mind. And now that I'm talking about it, like like I can remember some of the fun things that I contributed to laughter and to fun in certain situations. So I remember both sides of it. And I will let stuff go. Like in Virginia Beach, I had a lot of really good friends, and we hardly don't communicate. For the first couple of years, I actively sought out the relationships, and now I'm like, if they pop into my mind, I will send a text, but sometimes they pop into my mind and it is a little judgy. I'm like, no, I'm just not gonna pursue it. It's not because I don't like them, it's just because no, just no. So that's where I am with the relationship thing.
Sounds like a healthy place.
Mhm.
I hope so.
I did have one question about something you said, and this is for all of us. In regards to your earlier childhood, and you were saying that you were accustomed to moving from place to place, and therefore you may have friends for just a summer and so forth.
Mhm.
Do we think that there's ever a time that we are severing relationships too soon before they materialize whatever it is that we're supposed to get from them, or it just is going to be what it's going to be?
That's an interesting question. In 12-step recovery, they say don't leave before the miracle happens. So, I mean, like, don't leave a relationship before you figure out why you're in it, I guess, right? But do
And
we have to
that's
figure it
how I
out?
approached my marriage, but that's different because you are committed for life, right? And if you
Right.
make a decision to end it, um, Yeah, so that is the logic I use with that, saying, if there's stuff that needs to be fixed in regards to this, I want to fix it now and not take it to the next marriage or relationship. So, um, but those outside of marriage, I guess if it can apply to marriage, then it can apply to any relationship now. I guess that
Yeah.
answers the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think there's no getting it wrong. Like
Mm.
if you let it go prematurely before the lesson has been learned, then lo and behold, here comes the next person.
Somebody else will show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, nothing that is, I can agree with that.
Yeah. That's funny to think about. We might as well just pause and get it figured out now, right? Oh man. Yeah. Mm.
Like better the devil you know than the one you don't know.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's interesting.
I think there's also personality types and like where you are in your life and spiritually. Because I think, as humans, we try to avoid suffering. And how we avoid it is either pushing away or pulling what doesn't make us suffer, we think is it's a push-pull or a pull.
Mhm.
And so I think some people it can stay in it without having to have an outcome or have to like it can be painful and you can stay in it without pushing it away because it's painful. But you can also, I guess you could also be in it and be painful and decide that this is not for you anymore. So,
Mhm.
I th- I know this sounds like every episode, but I think again is like staying in the present with it and putting your
Mhm.
feet in today with it and then deciding what it is today that this relationship is about for you.
Mm.
Not if I get rid of them, will it feel better or, um, but to just be very conscious about it.
Yeah.
I like that, Melissa, because that's exactly what I'm doing with the neighbor. I'm trying to be very present with what's in front of me whenever I'm around her, whenever anybody starts talking about it, and not try to be operating from the past
Yeah.
information, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes me think about like Amanda was talking about her human design. Well, all of our avatars have very distinct personalities, very distinct charts and all these different things. And some personalities just repel, just
Mhm.
do not get along, do not get each other, do not see eye to eye, just whatever. They just butt up against each other. And for most of us, when we're young, when we encounter someone like that, it's painful and we make a story about it that, like, I really offend this person. What is wrong with me? I'm like, we
Mhm.
make it a question of our worth or our likability. And then, like, so it's like, and then for most of us, it takes time and experience to learn that it's not a reflection of our worth. It's not a reflection of any of that, and it's not our job to be liked by everyone. But that's a hard fought lesson for most
Yeah.
of us. But even that oil and water relationship served a purpose. It was here to bump up against us on purpose.
Here's
So
a statistic. 25% of the people you meet, you will not connect with. 75% you will. I learned that in my sales training because, in sales, there will be customers that kind of just
Yeah.
grate on you. But
mhm.
that's okay. Just know that, okay, move on to the next one that's going to. There's
And they
75% of them out there.
have their 75% and you're not in
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's for me, like, relationships now are a little different because I don't feel that emptiness, that yearning, that
Mm.
needing,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
where I'm going out and trying, because part of moving around, like, because we're human beings that need a tribe to,
Mhm.
so as I shifted, I got really good at finding my tribe quickly. And,
Mhm.
and fitting
Share your
in.
tips with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your tips? Yeah.
Fitting into the tribe that was present, I should say, right? So it wasn't necessarily finding my tribe. It was finding tribe, right? It was finding people to fit in. And now, like, I don't feel the urge to um adjust my, I don't even want to say values, but I'll say values, values to be a part of something. Right now, like you were talking about oil and water. If I feel that repel, or and not even, I'm not even talking about individual people, because one on one I can get along with anybody, just about anybody. Um, but I just don't feel the need to go out and be part of something as much, right? Like I don't have to go out and be included like that. Like I used to need to be included, and now I just don't feel that need anymore.
It sounds like you're not looking for others to fill you up any
Right.
longer.
Oh, yay. I will take that. I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll take that.
That's what
Yeah.
came to my mind as you were saying that.
Yeah. I still
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm in the season of having like to work out a deep friendship with myself, like a deep
Mm.
connection, right? Because there's a lot of things I judge myself for, like trying to judge myself for not, like now it's like a little tug of war. Like, should I leave my house more? Like, I don't know, but no. So
Yeah.
that's
It's a fine
right.
line.
It is. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just listening to a podcast yesterday, and they were talking about the relationship with you and God. And this woman that had a near death experience was describing what was shown to her. And one aspect of it was that when you're experiencing a lot of loss, it is that you should turn inward, because that more than likely it means you need to get closer to yourself and
Mm,
therefore closer to God. So,
Mhm.
yeah, kudos to you, Amanda. Sounds about right.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because right now my relationship with my horse, Loki, is like rocky. And I'm trying not to assign human value to it, but there's definitely a power struggle. And I doing all that I can to let him be a horse, right? Like he's a horse that doesn't like to be pet and coddled, and and um we had some herd dynamics where he was trying to be dominant, and that didn't fly. And so now my mind is, now when I go out there, he doesn't come up to me, he doesn't, right? There's no lovey-dovey stuff, but he doesn't like the love, and just to let that relationship be is so hard. It is so hard.
Well, because he doesn't know it yet, right? Maybe he never got that as a little baby horsey and an adult before he came to your place.
That, like, when you're looking at relationships, right? Like, a lot of times you don't know other people's baggage. You don't. And you don't know what they have gone through, and the walls that they've put up, and the coping mechanisms. That's just something about relationships.
Yeah.
Mm. So
Yeah.
what I'm learning, I would love to shift this a little bit to what have we learned from these relationships? Right? So for Loki, I'll start since I brought it up. I'm learning to let him be himself
Mhm.
and not have to change him. He has to respect me. He has to respect my value. He has to respect my boundaries, um, which goes with all relationships. So that's what I'm learning with this relationship.
Wow.
Mhm. So
I would say,
Drusilla's, yeah.
yeah, I would say for me is to just let go of the attachment to what that relationship means.
Mhm.
Not to have an expectation about, them, what they bring to you, what they offer you, and also really relieving yourself from having accountability or responsibility for them as well. Because for me, a lot of times I feel guilty if I don't show up with friends, more friends in certain ways. And sometimes it's not what I want to do, but I do it just out of not wanting to feel the guilt behind it or something. So, um, I do think that I could use a little more discernment in how I approach relationships and to sever some of those unrealistic expectations.
I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah. Morgan and Melissa, do you have anything to add and what you are gleaning from this?
I don't know. I guess kind of echoing what Drusilla said, just taking responsibility. Because in my chart is this black sheep story and this not fitting in story. And but if I take real responsibility, I can see how I have set myself apart in a lot of those places and made myself feel like a black sheep. So it's like I'm subtly doing it to myself. And letting go. I feel like one thing I have gotten to is that place of letting go of the shoulds. Like I should reach out to this person or I should say yes to this invitation, even though my body is really like against it and I really don't want to. Like letting that shit go. If it feels like a no, letting it be a no and not like
Mm.
trying to keep up social graces and appearances and force it if it doesn't feel like a good fit to me.
Mhm.
I don't know if that applies to the
It does.
question you
It
asked,
really
Amanda.
does.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really does.
Being authentic, that's where I have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
But it
Um,
does take discernment because, you know, ego can get involved and you can miss out on really beautiful relationships too. So it's a certain level of clarity and discernment involved.
Yeah. Which means you need to stay present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah. Can't discern if we're not present.
okay. I was thinking, especially after Amanda and Drusilla's share, um, I think my earlier relationships were a lot about myself, like how I felt accepted or like it fed something inside me that needed some outside approval, let's say. But they were authentic and everything, but it just was was still something about it feeding me um, or making me feel better about myself. And I think now um, I don't really go to relationships for that. I let them come in and out. But Amanda, what you were talking about, like the relationship is me for me now, like learning to have a good relationship with myself and loving kindness with myself. And I think, um, I mean, I'm still friends with a lot of people and I'm not friends with some people, and that is okay. But the tone of it has changed. Like now, instead of thinking, oh, we need to have each other and we need to go do this together because this is what we do. Now I so love and appreciate the people in my life because I love and appreciate them, not necessarily that it's feeding me. I don't think. Um, yeah, it's kind of a different like magnetism or a different it's uh it's not a push pull or it's not an all pull thing. It is a um just a natural coming together, letting go, coming together, letting go. Um so yeah, but I also have thought for a long time and I don't know where I heard this. I'm thinking maybe Jennifer Hadley, but we never know who our teachers are. So I try to always keep that in mind because even the people, so it's the friendships for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And
Mhm.
I try to keep the, I just never know. It's not up to me, really. But if I stay present and kind and loving, then it just is what it is. And then it can go away. It goes away or it doesn't go away.
Mhm.
But I don't have that clinginess anymore. I don't have that like, you got to stay with me because if you don't, something's gonna be
You
happen to
complete
me.
me. You complete
complete
me.
me. Yeah, totally.
Aren't the all like the love so all the songs from the 80s and 90s
Oh
now?
yeah.
When I listen to them, I'm like, what was I thinking? That's some
Yes.
stupid shit.
Yes.
But they're such bangers.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So a lot of good stuff in this episode. And what, whether we believe that people come into our lives by destiny or chance or something in between, they're always here for a reason, right? There's some reason. And one of the post-its that I have, I loved what Drusilla said, is that remember that I have everything in me that I thought that person was could give me. Like I already have it. Maybe that